He would love nothing more than to divide our country based on race, religion, gender, orientation, or immigration status. Because this is the only way he knows he can prevent the solidarity of us working together across all of our differences.
You know, it's really quite interesting how people have tried to manipulate people and how to intimidate people and change their minds. This has been going on since we've been in America. You know, you go back to the days of slavery.
The gloves are officially off. What you're about to witness is a political clash that has sparked intense debate across social media and beyond. It all began when Representative Ilhan Omar once again argued that conservatives are dividing Americans along lines of race, religion, gender, sexual orientation, and immigration status. But this time, the response came from someone unwilling to let the claim go unanswered. Dr. Ben Carson stepped into the conversation and delivered a calm yet forceful rebuttal that challenged the entire premise. What followed kept the audience locked in from start to finish. Let's get into it.
Thank you very much. And thank you for your courage to be here, because in the society that we live in today, it takes a lot of courage to say that you're supporting President Trump. And you know, it's really quite interesting how people have tried to manipulate people and how to intimidate people and change their minds. This has been going on since we've been in America. You know, you go back to the days of slavery, you know, and in a lot of the states there were more slaves than there were owners. So what did they do? They had to divide the slaves. So they told the ones in the house, you're better than the ones in the yard. And the ones in the yard, you're better than the ones in the field. And then after slavery was over, the light-skinned ones, you're better than the dark-skinned ones. And on it went, trying to divide people. Today, they say, if you are a conservative, then you are somehow an Uncle Tom, you're a horrible person, you're a demon. What a bunch of crap, you know, but you know, it's been going on for hundreds of years. And it's really time to put a stop to it. So I am very happy to see that you have the courage to come out. You know, it doesn't bother me anymore because, you know, I only worry about what God thinks. I don't worry about what these other people think. But you know, sometimes people ask me, what happened to you? You changed. I haven't changed. I changed about 35 years ago because, you see, I grew up in Detroit, a bastion of liberalism. They call it progressivism now. They keep changing the name. But anyway, then from there to Boston, a bastion of liberalism. Back to Detroit, and then to New Haven, Connecticut, a bastion of liberalism, and then to Ann Arbor, Michigan, a bastion of liberalism, and then to Baltimore, Maryland, a bastion of liberalism. So I had no chance. I was a liberal. I was way out there. And then I did something that liberals are never supposed to do. I listened to a conservative. I listened to Ronald Reagan. And I said, you know, he doesn't sound like a horrible racist person. He sounds just like my mother. And at that point, I started thinking for myself. And that made a big difference. It made a big difference in my medical career, too. I didn't do what everybody else did. I always started thinking out of the box. How do you solve this problem? And that's the reason that God gave us these complex brains. Your brain has billions and billions of neurons, hundreds of billions of interconnections. It remembers everything you've ever seen, everything you've ever heard. It can process more than 2 million bits of information in 1 second. Would God give you something like that just so that you can be a sheep and follow what somebody else tells you to do, or to think for yourself? And you know, don't you find it fascinating that so many people say the president's a racist? He's a horrible racist and everything he does. Well, you know, it seems to me like some years ago, Jesse Jackson actually gave the president an award in New York City because he opened so many opportunities for black people. Is that what a racist does? And then when he moved to Palm Beach, he was right on the forefront to fighting the clubs who were not admitting Jews and blacks. Does that sound like what a racist would do? He is the one who finally got the Second Chance Act done. Does that sound like what a racist would do? When he took office, he brought the office of HBCUs to the White House so it could get appropriate attention, more money than ever. Opportunity zones so that people could take this money and direct it to the places where people did not have opportunities before. An economy where you have the lowest unemployment rates for black people in history. And it goes on and on and on. Let me tell you something. If he's a racist, he's an awfully bad one. He needs to go get a lesson from the real racists. The people who look at somebody like you and me and they say, because your skin is a certain color, you have to think a certain way. And if you don't, there's something wrong with you. And they start calling you names. Those are the real racists. But you know, the president believes that a rising tide lifts all boats. He doesn't believe in identity politics, and that's why he's doing things that work for everybody. And we should be happy about that. And the media, they like to pick on him, any little thing. You know, he's not perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. The only one who ever was perfect was Jesus, and they crucified him. So, you know, think about this. And we need to just look at the big picture. Think about all the incredible things that are happening. Think for ourselves and be missionaries. Go out and talk to your family, talk to your friends, help them to realize, because see, if all they're doing is looking at certain media, they don't even know about these things that we just talked about that he has done. And so they can perpetrate this horrible image of him being a bad person. It is absolutely not true. I work with him all the time. He's a wonderful person. He's become a good friend. You remember during the campaign when we were having a debate and I couldn't hear my name. I came out, I stood there, I was waiting to hear everybody else gleefully walk past. He was the only one who stood with me until they straightened it out. That's the kind of person that our president is. He is my friend, and he will be your friend as you get to know him. Ladies and gentlemen, the 45th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Dr. Carson didn't hesitate. Rather than accepting the accusations being leveled at conservatives, he flipped the discussion and pointed to what he believes has been the true source of division throughout American history. He described how people were deliberately separated during slavery, house slaves versus field slaves, lighter skin versus darker skin, as a way to maintain control. According to Carson, division has long been a powerful political tool, and he argued that the same strategy is still being used today. He went on to explain that many conservatives are immediately branded with negative labels the moment they step outside a particular political narrative. In his view, people are often told that disagreeing with certain ideas automatically makes them bad or intolerant. Carson firmly rejected that notion and called it a tactic designed to discourage independent thought. What made his remarks especially impactful was the personal experience behind them. Carson spoke about growing up in cities such as Detroit, Boston, and Baltimore, where liberal political viewpoints dominated much of the conversation. For years, he said, that was the only perspective he knew. Then came a turning point. Carson recalled hearing Ronald Reagan speak and how that experience challenged many of his assumptions. Instead of simply accepting what he had always been told, he began asking questions and examining issues for himself. That lesson in critical thinking became the central theme of his message. He reminded the audience that people have the ability to reason, analyze facts, and reach their own conclusions rather than blindly following political narratives. And that point led directly into one of the most talked about moments of his speech. When the conversation shifted to accusations of racism, Carson responded by listing several examples he believes contradict claims frequently made against Donald Trump. He pointed to praise from prominent black figures, support for historically black colleges and universities, the Second Chance Act, opportunity zones, and record-low black unemployment during Trump's presidency. Then came the line that drew laughter and applause from the crowd. If he's a racist, he's a remarkably ineffective one. The audience reacted immediately. Carson argued that genuine prejudice is not determined by political affiliation but by judging people solely because of their race or assuming they must think a certain way because of their background. That message appeared to resonate strongly with many people in attendance. By the conclusion of the speech, the contrast Carson was drawing was unmistakable. On one side, he placed identity politics. On the other, individual responsibility, independent thinking, and personal accountability. Whether viewers agreed with his conclusions or not, Carson presented his arguments with confidence, conviction, and a clear belief in the importance of critical thought. Now we want to hear from you. Did Dr. Carson make a compelling case, or do you see the issue differently? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss future discussions.